Hello and welcome to this crochet lace tutorial. Today we'll be working on our 6th square, which is this all white, beautifully complex looking square, which is actually incredibly simple to make, made up of all stitches you've used before, and doesn't it just look absolutely beautiful? So I really hope you'll enjoy making this square with me today. Shall we have a look what we'll need? We are going to need our white cotton yarn that came free with this issue, our 1.75mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, a tape measure and a yarn needle. Round 1, and we'll be starting with a magic ring. Take your yarn and form a cross over 2 fingers, hold it with your other fingers to secure, turn your hand over. Go under the first loop of yarn and pick up the second, bring it back and give it a little twist. Then make a slip knot with the same yarn. Take it off your fingers and the magic ring is ready to use. For round 1, we're going to be working 16 double crochets into the ring, and we're going to be starting off with a 1 chain. That doesn't actually count as a stitch though. So 16 double crochets into the ring. That is 16 double crochets there. I'm going to pull my ring closed. And we're going to slip stitch into the first double crochet to close the round. Round 2, and we're going to be working a treble 3 cluster in our first double crochet. To do this, we're going to chain 2 to start. That counts as the first part of our treble 3 cluster. And then we're going to work a treble, but leave the last part of the stitch on the hook, and another treble, all in the same space, the space where we joined the round. So you'll have 3 loops on the hook, go round and through all 3. You're going to chain 3. We're going to miss the next stitch and we're going to work our next treble 3 cluster in the next stitch. And chain 3. So that is our repeat for this round. We're going to miss the next stitch, treble 3 cluster in the next stitch, and then chain 3. We're going to do it a total of 8 times. We've already done it twice, so we just need to do it 6 more times. I'll let you get on with that and I'll show you how we close the round when we get there. That is all 8 of our treble 3 clusters done there, and I finished with a chain 3. And now to close the round, I'm just going to slip stitch into the top of this treble 3 cluster right here. And that is round 2. Round 3, and we're going to slip stitch into the next chain space to start our round. We're then going to chain 1. Then into this chain space that we're in, we're going to work 1 double, 2 chain, 3 treble, 2 chain, and another double. So 1 double, 2 chain, 3 treble, 2 chain, and another double crochet, all in that 3 chain space. We're going to chain 1. We're going to miss the top of our cluster here, and then we're going to work that same sequence of stitches in the next chain space. So it's 1 double crochet, chain 2, 3 treble, chain 2, and 1 double crochet. Chain 1 and miss the next stitch, which is the top of the cluster there. And that is our repeat. We're going to be doing it a total of 8 times. We've already done it twice, so we need to do it 6 more times. So we're going to be working 1 double crochet, chain 2, 3 treble, chain 2, 1 double crochet, all in the next 3 chain space, chain 1 and miss the next stitch. That's our repeat, quite a simple one. I'll meet you back here when we've finished our repeats and show you how we join the round. That is the end of our repeats there, and we're going to finish with a double crochet in this 1 chain that we did at the start of the round. And that is our round 3. Lovely little flower motif. Round 4 starts with chain 9. This counts as our first treble and 6 chain space. Now we're going to miss all the stitches in the next petal, and we're going to treble into the 1 chain space between them. Chain 6. Again, miss all the stitches in the petal and treble into that 1 chain space. And that is our repeat for this round. You're going to chain 6, miss all the stitches in the petal and work 1 treble in the 1 chain space. You're going to work that repeat another 5 times, and then on the final repeat we're going to be doing something slightly different to join the round. So I'll meet you back here when we get to that point and show you how we close the round. I've worked that repeat another 5 times, and now we've just got to join in our last gap here. To do that, we're going to chain 3. And then we're going to work a treble stitch into our 3rd chain. So 1, 2, 3, that chain there, I'm going to work a treble. And that puts us in the middle of a chain space, ready for round 5. Round 5, we're going to start with chain 1, then we're going to double crochet in that chain space we just made on the previous round. We're then going to chain 7, and we're going to work 1 double crochet in the next chain space. We're going to chain 3, and then working in the same chain space that we've just done this double crochet in, we're going to work 1 treble 3 cluster, chain 5 twice. So a treble 3 cluster, chain 5, another treble 3 cluster, chain 5, and then we're going to do 1 last treble 3 cluster in the same chain space. And to finish off this chain space, we're going to chain 3 and work a double crochet in the space. We're then going to chain 7, then we're going to be working in the next chain space. We're going to work 1 double crochet, chain 7, and another double crochet in the same chain space. And then we're going to chain 7 again. That is our repeat for this round. So in the next chain space, we're going to be working 1 double crochet, chain 3, treble 3 cluster, chain 5 twice, treble 3 cluster, chain 3, double crochet. So it's all in the same chain space. We're then going to chain 7 and miss the next stitch and work 1 double crochet, chain 7, 1 double crochet in the next chain space. We then chain 7 to finish off the repeat and start that over again. So we're going to work that twice more. So we're turning this into a square now. and I'll show you what it looks like when we've done that and how we finish off the round. I've worked that repeat twice more now, and now we're on to our final repeat to close off the round. So as we've been doing, we're going to double crochet in the next chain space, chain 3, and we're going to work our clusters. So the treble 3 clusters, and chain 5, twice, then another treble 3 cluster, chain 3, and double crochet into that same chain space. We're going to chain 7, and then we're going to double crochet into the last chain space, and to join we're going to chain 3, and then we're going to work a double treble into our first double crochet stitch, so just here. So again, we are ending the round in the middle of a chain space, and we're ready to start round 6. Round 6, and we're starting with chain 3. This counts as our first treble stitch. We're then going to work 4 trebles in the same chain space. That's 4 trebles there. We're then going to work a double crochet in the next 7 chain space and chain 5. Then we're going to be working in the chain spaces above our clusters here, and in the first one we're going to be working 1 treble 3 cluster, chain 3, and another treble 3 cluster. So 1 treble 3 cluster, chain 3, and another treble 3 cluster. So that's 1 treble 3 cluster, chain 3, 1 treble 3 cluster, all in that 5 chain space, and we're going to do exactly the same thing in the next space. So 1 treble 3 cluster, chain 3, and another treble 3 cluster. In that next 5 chain space. So we end up with 4 treble 3 clusters on top of our 3 from the previous round. We're then going to chain 5. And we're going to double crochet in our next chain space. We're then going to work in our next chain space, and we're going to work 5 trebles. Chain 3, and another 5 trebles, all in the same space. And then we're going to work 1 double crochet in the next chain space. So that is our repeat for round 6. We're going to be working chain 5, 1 treble 3 cluster, chain 3, 1 treble 3 cluster in the next 5 chain space. We're going to be doing that twice. We're then going to chain 5 again and work 1 double crochet in the next 7 chain space. We're then going to work 5 treble, 3 chain, 5 treble in the next 7 chain space. And finally 1 double crochet in the next 7 chain space. And we're going to work that twice more, and then I'll show you what it looks like and how we finish off that last repeat to join the round. I've worked that repeat twice more now. So what we need to do now is chain 5, Then we're going to work treble 3 cluster, chain 3, treble 3 cluster, just like we have been doing. We're going to be doing that twice, so we're going to work it in the next chain space as well. Chain 5, double crochet in the next chain space. Then to join the round, we're going to work 5 treble in this last chain space. We're then going to chain 1, and we're going to finish with a half treble into the top of this 3 chain here. And that is round 6. Round 7 starts with 3 chain, which again counts as our first treble. We're then going to work 1 treble in the same place. We're then going to treble in each of our treble stitches down the side. So that's 5 treble stitches down the side. I'm going to miss the next stitch, and we're going to work 1 double crochet in the next 5 chain space. We're going to chain 5. And then in our next 3 chain space, we're going to be working 1 treble 3 cluster. Chain 3, another treble 3 cluster, chain 3, and a final treble 3 cluster. And you're going to repeat that again in the next 3 chain space. So treble 3 cluster, chain 3, another treble 3 cluster, chain 3, and a final treble 3 cluster. Chain 5, and then double crochet in the next chain space. We're then going to be working in our trebles. We're going to work 1 treble in each treble, 5 times. In our central chain space just here, we're going to work 2 trebles, chain 3, and another 2 trebles. And that is our repeat for this round. So next you're going to be working 1 treble in each of the next 5 trebles, miss the next stitch and double crochet in the next 5 chain space, chain 5, and then we're going to be working in the next 2 3 chain spaces, making those clusters again. We're going to do 1 treble 3 cluster, chain 3, 1 treble 3 cluster, chain 3, 1 treble 3 cluster in the next 3 chain space. We're going to be doing that twice. We're then going to chain 5 and work 1 double crochet in the next 5 chain space, miss the next stitch, and then 1 treble in each of the next 5 treble stitches. In the next chain space, you're going to work 2 trebles, 3 chain, and 2 treble, and that is the repeat. Again, it's a bit of a complicated one, so feel free to follow on in the chart and mark off your stitches as you go. And we're going to work that repeat twice more, and I'll show you what it looks like when we've done that and how we finish off our last repeat. I've worked that repeat twice more, and now we need to work our final repeat in the same way at the start. So we're starting with 5 trebles in the trebles down the side. Double crochet in the next chain space, chain 5. Then we're going to work our clusters in these 2 chain spaces here. So treble 3 cluster, chain 3. Another treble 3 cluster, chain 3, and a final treble 3 cluster. And we're going to work that again in the next chain 3 space. Chain 5. Double crochet in the next chain space. Then we're nearly back to the start of the round. We've just got our trebles to do up the side. So 5 trebles. Then we work 2 trebles in the chain space. And then we're going to chain 1 and join with a half treble again into that 3rd chain. Round 8 starts with chain 1, and then we're going to double crochet into that same space. We're then going to chain 6. And we're going to work a treble into the 5 chain space. Chain 6. And treble into the 3 chain space. Chain 6. And we're going to work a double treble into the next 3 chain space. Chain 7. And work another double treble into the next 3 chain space. This is going to become our corner space. That's why it's a chain 7. We're going to chain 6. And we're going to work a treble into the next 3 chain space. Chain 6 again. And treble into the next 5 chain space. Chain 6. And then we're going to double crochet into this 3 chain space at the top of our trebles there. And that is our repeat. So we're building this out into a square on this round. So we're working chains and then various lengths of stitches to make it into the square shape. So our repeat is chain 6, treble in the next 5 chain space, chain 6, treble in the next 3 chain space, chain 6, double treble in the next 3 chain space, chain 7, and double treble in the next 3 chain space, chain 6 and treble in the next 3 chain space, chain 6, treble in the next 5 chain space, chain 6 and work a double crochet in the 3 chain space, the one at the top of the trebles. I'm going to work that twice more, and I'll show you what it looks like when we've done that and how we finish off the round. I've worked that repeat twice more, and to finish off the round we're going to chain 6, treble in the next 5 chain space, chain 6, treble in the next 3 chain space, chain 6, double treble in the next 3 chain space, chain 7, double treble in the next 3 chain space, chain 6, treble in the next 3 chain space, chain 6, treble in the next 5 chain space, chain 6, and to join, we're going to join with a slip stitch, just for that first double crochet just there. And that is our round 8. Round 9, and we're going to start with a slip stitch into a first chain space. We're then going to chain 3, which counts as our first treble. And then we're going to work 5 trebles into the same space. We're then going to chain 1. We're going to work 6 trebles into the next 6 chain space, and we're going to do that twice, with chain 1 in between. Chain 1. In our corner space, we're going to work 9 trebles. That's 9 trebles in our corner space. Chain 1 again. We're then going to work 6 trebles in the next 6 chain space, chain 1 and miss the next stitch. We're going to do that 6 times to take us all the way along this edge. Remember to do that chain 1 in between. Then we're skipping the trebles and just working in the chain spaces. In the corner space again, we're going to do 9 trebles. Chain 1. So that is our repeat for this round. We're going to be working 6 trebles in the next 6 chain space, chain 1 and miss the next stitch 6 times, so all along the side. In the corner space we'll be working 9 treble in that 7 chain space, chain 1 and miss the next stitch. That is our repeat. We're going to work it twice more, and then on the final repeat we're going to work 6 trebles in the next 6 chain space, chain 1, miss the next stitch 3 times. Now I'll meet you back after we've done that and show you how we close off the round. So I've just finished those last 3 chain spaces with 6 trebles in, and to finish the round all I need to do is chain 1, and then we're going to join with a slip stitch to the top of that 3 chain at the beginning. Just like that. And that is our round 9. Round 10, we're going to start with chain 1, and we're going to work a double crochet just into the bottom of that chain, and that's our first stitch. We're then going to work a double crochet into all our trebles, we get to our 1 chain space, we're going to work 1 double crochet in that, and then a double crochet in each of the 6 trebles as we go along. So again, 1 double crochet in the chain space and 1 in every stitch. We're going to repeat that until we get to our corner. We are at the corner group of 9 stitches here, and what we're going to do here is we're going to work a double crochet in the first 4, and then in the 5th we're going to work 1 double crochet, chain 1 and another double crochet just to crisp up those corners. Then another 4 double crochet going down the other side of the corner. And then we've got 1 chain space, so we put 1 double crochet there, and then we're back to 1 double crochet in each of the 6 treble stitches and 1 double crochet in each chain space. So that is our repeat for this round. We're going to work 1 double crochet in each of the next 6 stitches, 1 double crochet in each chain space, and we're going to do that 6 times along the side. Then in the corner we're going to do 1 double crochet in the next 4 stitches, 1 double crochet, 1 chain, 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the next 4 stitches. We're going to work 1 double crochet in that chain space to take us out of the corner, and that is the repeat. We're going to work it another 3 times and join with a slip stitch, and I will show you what it looks like when we've done that and what our finished square looks like. So here we have our finished square. Isn't it looking lovely? That central floral motif surrounded by the square, and then the points turn again to form new corners. I think it's lovely, this one. It's definitely going to benefit from a press with an iron because it's curling up a little bit, but you'll have seen it at the beginning of this video nicely pressed. And then we've got a few ends to weave in, and if we pop a number on for number 6, then we can put it safely with our other squares until we're ready to join our throw together. But yeah, I think this is just a lovely one, this one. I really enjoyed making it. I hope you enjoyed making it too, and I hope you enjoyed following along with this tutorial, and I hope you'll join me for the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.